Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my Wednesday Big Brother co-host, Jonathan, here on a Thursday. How are you doing, Jonathan?
Good. Is it a leap year or what's happening? I don't know.
Well, you know that I was asked to do a focus group for a movie, and it was happening yesterday. So I was watching a movie that has not been released yet, and giving my thoughts and opinions about it. So that happened yesterday. So we decided to go live and do a double episode today.
A
So that's
double
what's happening.
episode. It was not a double
Yes.
eviction. We're just doing a double
No.
episode. Yes.
Correct. So
Yeah.
do you even remember what happened yesterday? It was your Wednesday day, so you might have an idea of
Yeah.
the
I mean, it was jam packed, filled with a bunch of stuff that I do remember. There was a veto. And yeah, we'll take it from there.
we'll muddle through it. We'll make something happen for sure.
My thoughts will come about once we start getting into it. I'm sure. I definitely have thoughts that are not written down clearly.
Hold on, I should add this so people know what we're talking about right now, just in case. So hold on. But we start off the episode with Summer feeling really petty. She doesn't really want to hug anybody. Gino comes to hug her. She's putting on her makeup. This is right after her being nominated, and she doesn't even feel like hugging Gino. So I get it. I would probably be salty and not want to hug people if I was being nominated. But how did you think that Summer handled her nomination?
Which it bleeds into today, which we'll talk about later, but not well. I mean, in those moments, you have to realize how you come across and what your tells are and things like that. And I just think if that's something that you'll struggle with, you just have to actively be like, okay, if I ever get nominated, I'm gonna be real petty about it, and in my emotions about it initially. So, maybe remove myself, which she probably did, but also pretend everything's okay. Because the moment that you make people in this game think that you're not okay with something that they've done to you, just gives them more of a reason to vote you out. So I would make sure that I'm on top of it.
Like, okay, before you get nominated, you have to make them fear nominating you to in a certain way that's not like threatening, but like you have to make them not want to nominate you because they don't want to upset you or have the fact or you maybe come and retaliate. So you kind of have to play that dance a little bit. But after you are nominated, you have to play the dance of like, I understand it was for your game. There's a bigger purpose, whatever, so that you won't look like you would be vindictive and come for their necks after. So
Yeah.
there is definitely a dance that you have to do, and she was not willing to do that dance.
Oh, I would be all over. I'd be like, you know what? I was thinking about it, and it makes total sense, and I know why, because that's my fault. Why it makes sense why you would put me up, and I hope to show you that, regardless of if I go this week or not, why I am actually really good for your game, or I was. I mean, it's maybe not in our hands anymore. I would just reassure them and just kind of make sure that it's not coming across as desperate at the same time. But you just need to make sure that you're not in your emotions in moments where you'll probably be in your feelings about it. So
yes, you got to make them feel okay after about it.
And then it, like we said, it continued into Thursday's episode with Summer and some of her behavior, and we'll talk about that later. But I mean, not the greatest, not the greatest.
No, sir. Well, so Gino does go over to Moose after, and Moose is giving the better reaction. Like Moose is kind of doing the things that we're talking about, not making Gino feel super awful about it. He's being really reasonable and not making Gino feel like crap about it. And I think that was the right approach.
Moose has really surprised me with how excitable that he can be, in other weeks. When it comes down to it, he can really kind of just, laser focus and make sure that he's playing the game and getting his points across and stuff like that. So yeah, I was very surprised with Moose over the last couple days.
Definitely. Like Moose is definitely chilled out. In the first episode, second episode, I was like, oh my god, this guy is too much for me. But I 100% agree with you that he's calmed down. If I were in the game, I would probably be keeping Moose over Summer. That would be I would want
100%. Yeah.
Right? Like, especially after we talk about tonight's episode, like I would 100% would have kept Moose. And so, yeah, I'm really upset that we didn't get to see him play a little bit longer. I guess spoiler alert. Sorry, guys, we are talking about Wednesday, so we'll catch up to the next episode very soon. But Gino does want to pull Moose off the block if he were to win the veto, and so that's always good to hear. If you are nominated, that the plan is to take you off the block.
And how did you want this week to, like, going into it? How did you want before the veto started and all that? What were you hoping for?
I wanted the back door, Marty. Yeah, I just wanted it.
The thing is, it just doesn't make sense for a lot of people. And so I'm like, oh gosh, as much as I want Marty gone, I was like, I hope it's actually Moose that goes or something like that. I hope they don't, and somehow Marty gets saved is what I was hoping going into all of
Marty,
this.
like, staying in the game for me, like, I don't like what he brings to the table. I don't like how he interacts with people. I don't like that he's not loyal. I don't like that he tries to make people feel guilty. I don't like that he panders to the audience. I don't want him in that final 2 seat. I don't want him to be rewarded for being, in my opinion, very unlikable and not a type of person that I would really want to be watching or rewarding.
We're getting down to it. Like, you keep them a few more, evictions, you're in a danger spot for him winning out, so yeah, it's
I mean, I wouldn't want him in the game. I just wouldn't want to play with him. And I think that also, even if I were Gino, I think that for Gino, it was definitely better for his game to potentially take Marty out, just because Marty's very capable of winning stuff. And he's showed that he's not necessarily loyal to you. So
yeah, he's not loyal. And as much as this may seem like an emotional response, us saying like we want him out because of whatever, at the same time, if you're in the game and there's someone that's getting under your skin that much, it might make you do things that you that you normally wouldn't, because they've just like made your blood boil, right? So getting someone out who's doing that to you and infuriating you may be the best move, because it can affect you on more of an internal and emotional level. So I agree. But at the same time, as a viewer, I was like, oh, I think I want this staying today.
Did you want, sorry, say that again?
I think I wanted him staying today. Like, I didn't want him being backdoored or anything like that. So.
Oh, I wanted him to be backdoored. I wanted him to have the taste of that medicino. I just wanted his just
one
desserties.
More week. Give him one more week.
I don't think it will be as satisfying for him going out. Spoiler alert on a triple eviction. I don't know if that will be as, feel good. So, and he might he might win
for a while. Yeah.
We'll get to it. So we have the veto spin. Moose chooses Josh with house guest choice. Josh still doesn't feel as though he understands why Moose keeps on choosing him. Also, in the safety chain, Moose did choose Josh. So, like, Josh, he wants to work with you. He is doing things to protect you in the game. He's allowing you to play for veto so that you wouldn't be a potential option for a backdoor. Like, I think that these are really good things. And Josh just didn't want to have any part of it.
Yeah, and I just have a little comment about that wheel that's looking really pathetic. I mean,
why can't they can't make 2 for each person's name? Like,
or just make the wedges. Yeah, exactly. Make the wedges either larger or put another, another person. Like, it was. I mean, no wonder there's so many cutting, because they probably land on empty spaces like 90% of the time. But I was just like, guys, I'm like, you have money. We're in Canada here, so we don't have lots. But I mean, you still have, you're a big show. It's you could double up the wedges or make them wider or something, because that was looking kind of like
definitely
not
a
great.
cheap show to produce. Like, let me think. Like, okay, let's think out loud here. We work in film and television. So a normal episode of television, like a drama of some sort, how much would you think that one episode would cost? And it would take about a week to produce.
I mean, it can absolutely vary, like depending on sets and what you're using and what you have in the budget.
And
And I
we'll
mean,
say not special effects, explosions, and some
yeah,
like a
but
big
if
show
you're like
like that. Like,
reusing sets that you already have, and then normally I'm in casting, so I can talk about money going towards actors. Is you usually have like several guest stars with varying amounts of money. But again, it's like if you work on a low budget show, that could be thousands of dollars, and if you work on a slightly bigger budgeted show, you're now talking about like tens of thousands of dollars. Like a typical guest star in America on could be anywhere from like, I would say a lot of people's quotes are like $50,000 to $75,000 per episode. So that's what they're paying in the cast, just one episode for one person.
well, I mean, even here in Canada, like it's like 40 grand is pretty average for like a lead in like a Canadian production. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of like if it's a smaller CBC show here, I would say that you're probably looking at like $20,000 to $25,000 for the CBC, which doesn't have a lot of money, kind of series regular. But anyway, you just you're not spending that on there are each earning money every week.
I don't even think they're spending like $1 million a week in you know what I mean? Like it's not like some of the big shows in the States are spending like $1 million an episode, like so.
Oh, I mean, even in that, like look at Friends in the 90s, they were all making $1 million an episode, just each actor. So it's like, and that was 25 years ago. But it's so yeah, it's not other than like it's a basic production. You have all those employees. It's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things.
Like,
yeah,
it costs nothing to produce, and like I've been to like live recordings, and the stage where Arisa's on, it's pretty budget. Like it's not that fancy.
The seats that you have to sit in for 9 million hours.
Oh, they're regular folding chairs.
Terrible. Like bring your own
regular folding chairs.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
And the house is not attached to where the live audience would be and where Arisa is. It's two separate places.
I hate that. They have to walk them in and then like fake it behind a door. Yeah.
Anyways, it just costs no money. So they definitely have the budget to create like how many people are left in the house? 9, 10? Like they have enough for 12. How many people are in there right now?
No, it's like
8. I guess 7. 7. Is that where
7 now? 7 now? 7 now, I think.
So 7 more pieces on a board. Can they not get somebody to cut out 7 more?
It was very distracting for me. And usually I don't care about that stuff, but I was very distracted by it. I was like, this does not look good. Fix it.
Terrible. It's not, and it wasn't even like even, and it had like house choice, like all right beside each other. It's like, do it maybe one side is all house choice, and then the other side is just all the names. Maybe if you want to like, I don't know, it just visually looked terrible. I agree. And they have enough money to at least fix that spin. Exactly. Fix the spin. Oh, hold on. Hi, Rolly. You missed the episode. Who was evicted and who's the new head of household? We don't know either. Well, we know who's evicted, but we're doing a Wednesday's episode right now. So we have not caught up on Thursdays.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll tell you soon.
We'll get there. It's coming soon. Exactly. So Summer picks house guest choice and chooses Jacey-Lynne, which I was like, I didn't expect that to be the pick. I guess maybe she thinks that Jacey-Lynne would use it on her, but I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Well, I thought she was doing it to show like her, like, oh, I have faith in you guys that I'm the pawn, et cetera, et cetera. So
okay, give her some props there then if that was her way of thinking. But she was like, oh, but if I wanted to be petty, I'd choose Marty because that's the backdoor plan. I'm like, this isn't the time for petty. When you're on the block, it's not the time for petty.
Because then you better damn well make sure that Marty wins and then takes you off if that's what you're gonna do. So
terrible. And then Gino spins and chooses Helena. So pretty much like the only person that they don't want to win at this point is Helena, and Helena hasn't won anything up until now. So pretty stacked. Moose has won a couple competitions. Summer obviously hasn't. Jacey-Lynne's won a few. Josh has come really close. So it would be, and all those other people other than Helena would be willing to use at this point the Veto.
And
So
and Summer says she's gonna go for it. Like she's, sick and tired of, not going for
good,
things. So this is the time. This is when
good.
she's gonna do it.
Do it. Win something. So obviously it's a Philips sponsor. I'm trying to decide. Like today on Thursday's episode, I was like, maybe I don't hate the sponsors, but then I remember when I the Philips, I'm like, oh, maybe I do. So I kind of go back and forth. I like the idea that these sponsors bring in money, but I don't like the idea that I feel as though it kind of neuters gameplay. So for instance, we don't see a lot of things on the feeds because it's sponsored and they want to be able to edit it in case someone does something that's not sponsor friendly. And so I don't know, I kind of don't like that it becomes so like less authentic. It's a little bit too varnished and polished for my liking. Any
Yeah, I
thoughts?
mean, yeah, I don't mind sponsored sometimes, and we've talked about earlier in the season how when it's done well, and kind of goes along with the theme of the season, uh, toothbrushes
Yeah,
and
wait,
like
what happened to the game show theme? And
like
what
I'm not
happened to
like
them
I
picking a
it's
door when they don't go home?
yeah, and it's like kind of like I get how it's like done like a game show, like it's like a fun kind of like activity, kind of like you would see on a game show slash you would see on Big Brother. But it wasn't to par. It was just off to me. It felt very sponsored and very just kind of like, you know, very aware of the fact that they were trying to promote the toothbrush and
Electric
Phillips or whatever it
toothbrush.
was. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
didn't like
maybe
it.
I'll try it though, to be fair, because like I've been thinking about getting a new toothbrush. So
I already
maybe
have one, so and they're great.
Philips.
They're great.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're
Philips
all gonna
Sonic
get a Philips
Sonicare.
toothbrush.
Philips Sonicare. Let me tell you, you'll never go back again. And we're
I
not sponsored
mean,
by them, but if they want to sponsor us, I will say all these great things, and I'll do a video about me brushing my teeth. But
I'll do a video every day about me brushing my teeth. I'll do a video on live brushing my teeth if they wanted to sponsor me. Absolutely. Sponsor us, please. So the host is Kevin. He's dressed as what he was dressed as a tooth, correct? Yeah. He had yellow pants. Is that black or gold pants?
probably, I mean, or just like drinking too much tea, coffee. Who knows?
Maybe. So, what did you think of this veto competition? So, basically, they had to use kind of like a Nerf super soaker to spray off the gunk or plaque
Yeah,
pieces off the teeth.
yeah.
Hmm.
I was wondering if it was like they were just trying to eliminate the adhesive on it, but then it seemed like they were actually, if you squirt kind of the sides of them, it takes it off, like it
Maybe it
applies
was
enough
Velcro. Maybe it
pressure.
was Velcro.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So there was one close-up shot that I felt like, oh, it hit the side of it and it came off that way. But and if it was just getting it wet and slipping off the adhesive of it, then I was like, well, then they could be running back and some could just fall off, which wouldn't be great. So I think it was more of like you have to actually hit it off because it didn't seem like a strong stream. I don't know. Didn't love that aspect of it. Didn't love because then after that they had to then run and build up their puzzle, which was like a floating island on in like a little water box. And I thought no one had like a great strategy with that because there was a lot of like up and down movement, and that's when you're going to be like making the most waves. And I personally would have been trying to like build as much of it just in the water and then just kind of like at least the base of it and figuring it out and then transferring it over while standing up completely and not bending down at all and there was a lot of people who were bending down. And I did notice people were kind of standing and doing it like Helena obviously did well, but she was mostly standing for it. If you noticed, she did bend down closer to the end, but yeah, I think just not a lot of people were super aware of their movements. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely building this puzzle, a floating puzzle in water vertically, annoying. Like it definitely annoying. But one thing I wrote down is exactly what you mentioned. Like, couldn't they have just built it in the water, kind of get the shape of it at least, and have them kind of all in one area, and then start building it and just like very slowly moving it. You know what I mean? This way
Yeah.
instead of
I
being
mean,
like, oh, gotta reach this and make some waves here. Oh, the moment, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to
but
be moving.
someone even said, like, I don't even know what this is. Like, they didn't even know it was a tooth. I was like, really? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was very well. It had to be a tooth. Like, what else was it going to be?
What was it going to be? And it was very obviously a tooth. So when I heard someone say that, I was like, ooh,
It's probably
I don't
Benny.
even remember who it was, but
So Helena does manage to pull through and win this veto. She was very excited about this. Apparently it took over an hour and a half. I didn't see the timestamp, but I thought I heard somebody
wow.
else like talking about the episode after. That's a long time to do this puzzle. Why didn't someone figure out how to do it first or like more quickly? And I also heard that Josh threw it to Helena.
Yeah, so I heard that Josh claimed that he was throwing it like after the fact on the feeds that they were talking about that. And people seem to believe him. But yeah, I think there was also a lot of talk about the bridge, like getting that, like they were trying to figure that out. That took the longest, but I didn't realize it took that long. It's kind of pathetic, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. It's not great. It's not
It
great.
should have taken, I don't know how long the plaque part could take. Like, I don't know, those super soakers didn't seem to have that much power. So that could have been an annoying part. But like, it's like a 10-piece puzzle. Like, that 10-piece puzzle is going to take you an hour and a half or an hour. We'll say an hour to figure out how to make it so that it doesn't fall over. What?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a lot harder than we're thinking, and maybe the pieces are lighter, so any movement was gonna make it
But
fall.
I mean, at
But
the end of the day, they weren't like we've seen, like in this week's Survivor episode, where you have to micro move. Like, I think it would have been obvious to us if that was the case, but they were moving pretty fast. So clearly, like even when they, Helena won. So it's not like I, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing for an hour
I guess they were
plus.
thinking speed as opposed to precision, and
I
not
guess.
like self-correcting. Like, if I started doing it quickly the first time that my whole thing knocked over, I'd be like, okay, new strategy here, because I'm not going to build it up that quickly and then knock over the last piece. Like, no thanks. So I don't think we need to be a master strategist to have done that puzzle a little bit more quickly. But Helena does get the POV, and Moose and Jacey-Lynne after are kind of annoyed that, Helena is the only person out of the people that were playing that will most likely not use the power veto. Jacey-Lynne at this point wants to just force her to use it, just be like, you got to use it, like use the power veto. But we know that it's not best for Helena's game at all for her to use the power veto, especially if she has an idea that Marty would be the replacement.
Exactly. And I'm very glad that she was aware enough to, and, stood her ground. She's like, yep, but it's not happening. And of course, like, as it normally does for whatever reason, like the one person most people don't want to win wins it. But I personally was happy. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to see, although I want to see Marty go, I was just like, it's better for certain people's games if he just stays. And I think
I just wanted Gino to get his give Marty his just desserts, just really wanted to stick it to him. So we do see Helena and Kevin talking about keeping Marty and how it is better for their game. So as soon as that's locked in, I know that there's no chance that Helena is going to have her mind changed here. We see Helena talking to Gino, and she kind of gives good reason as to why they want to. Sorry, I'm distracted right now. Because are you brushing your teeth? Like, we just finished the veto comp.
Speaking of Philips Sonicare toothbrush.
Hi, Jojo. We're halfway through.
Hi, Chantele. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi.
How are you
Keep
doing?
going. Let me listen.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So, yes. So Helena talks to Gino about Marty still being a target. If Marty's out of the game, then Gino's going to be the next target. And yes, that's kind of true. But Gino doesn't realize that he's everybody's actual target this week. And so, maybe Marty wouldn't put you up, but like everybody else would. So I don't know. Gino's in a tough spot, in my opinion.
And that's why it's like, I think it's actually good for potentially Gino and Jacey-Lynne, and it's good for Kevin. It's good for Helena potentially with Marty staying. So I was like, yeah, all the people that I'm kind of rooting for, I'm actually think it's good that he stays another week.
God, you're not rooting for me? So, at this point though, Gino's plan is out the window, but he's actually starting to agree with Helena that maybe it's the best idea to keep Marty in the game. Gino tells the same thing to Jacey-Lynne, thinking Marty as the shield, basically reiterating everything that Helena had said. And so he's thinking that maybe it was his pride that wanted to take out Marty. I'm like, just go with your pride. Like, I love ego right now. Just like, take Marty out of this game, please. And they think that it might be Moose better for him to leave for his game. So what do you think about that, though? How much do you want Marty to leave this game, Jojo?
Oh, I very much want Marty to leave, but I think it's in a lot of people's best interest that had the power this week to keep Marty. And I think they were fighting that for far too long. It was really ridiculous for Gino to want to set Marty to go up for him to just go home next week. Yeah, I think keeping Marty was the smartest decision for Helena, for Jacey-Lynne, and for Gino.
Mm-hmm.
So Betty's going to make a slop shake, and then we get a reveal. What's changed? There's some fake flowers around the house. Marty was not happy with fake flowers because apparently there's no windows, and he hates fake flowers. He only likes real flowers. But we do find that Jacey-Lynne gets a little piece of paper in one of the flower pots. How much did you guys love this scavenger hunt? Little Mission Impossible.
Well, I was just like, do they do this often where they change things up in the house? Because if they don't, and the only new things are the flowers, you would have not have seen me sit anywhere but those flowers. I would have been like taking them to my room and just been like, like figuring something, counting them, writing down you can't write stuff down, but like figuring out the colors, like studying them, or I don't know. I would have done, I don't care if anyone saw me either. I would have been obsessed over them. So
yeah, season 2, Allison found flowers, and there was also a clue in the flowers. So for anyone that's a super fan that's in that house should know, like, hey, 2 sets of flowers, something's probably up. But you have to really like get in there and look. Like it was dyed the same color as the rose, so it was hard to see. But I mean, if you're traveling through the layers and the ruffles, you might find something. And Jacey-Lynne did.
She did, and I would be like you, Jonathan. Like, if there's new flowers there, I'd be obvious about it. Be like, well, they're obvious for everybody to see here. Like, but I guess if they want people to find it separately so that they can do this secret mission. But I definitely would not allow people to be walking by past it without, I would never walk by the set of flowers without intensely looking at everything in that flower pot.
For the very reason of just being there, if someone else figured something out or found something,
yep.
I would be sitting on that couch between those flowers. I would sleep there. I would just be, you wouldn't be anywhere else. But I just want to say before you even explain this further, what this whole thing is, I hate it. I think it's such a ploy to like manipulate the week. I hated every moment of it. Having said that, I love that Jacey-Lynne was the person who found it, because I'm like this. I knew I liked Jacey-Lynne for a reason. Like this is like, yeah, she's very much kind of has elements of my game. I mean, I don't think she's had much game so far, but kind of like just being good at that kind of stuff is something that I feel like I'd be good at as well.
Well, I like this element of it, but I agree that it is producer heavy-handed. And a lot of people are speculating that it was put in play in order to save Marty in case Marty ended up being on the block or the veto was used, that this was set in place to have a potential for Marty to be saved. So that's what the conspiracy theorists are saying about why the producers are stepping in here and having this heavy-handed twist come at a time where it would save most likely Marty. Jojo, no,
I don't
no
know.
thoughts
I
about
just
it?
don't know.
You like it?
I just don't believe that production like actually gets in there and tries to frig around as much as people think they do.
Oh
I don't
my God,
think it was
I
set
actually
for
100%
Marty.
do.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think
like
this is their
100%. I
this
think
is
they
their
do.
life. They like live and breathe it, and they absolutely. And I don't believe for a second that this wasn't a last minute thing that they decided to add. I mean, one way or the other, either to kill Marty or to like save him. I don't know what their whole ploy was, but it just was, especially because it's something that could be made in 2 seconds. It just felt like I hate stuff like that. I just hate it. I think I love like hidden things, scavenger hunts, absolutely. But and if I thought that it was pre-planned, then whatever. But just because it was like, nope, it has to be used this week. This is what it is right now. Are you using it? It's like if it was like, okay, you have 3 weeks to
And
use
also
it.
that they have to stand up and
wish.
admit to it. It's just like that was also another. I thought it was bad at what they did with it. If like they could maybe remain secret, that could
Yeah.
have maybe been a little bit interesting.
It's
But
just
like,
not good.
It is.
Give them 3 weeks to use it or something.
It's something. It's something great though for Jacey to have in her back pocket if she is in danger and she needs Marty. I was the one with the secret veto.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone wanted you out. Gino, she could throw Gino under the bus if it was the two of them up on the block. Like, I think that could help. Or even sitting in the final two, she could say, like, figured Gino and I would be up on the block the next week. That's a move that I made that he was not a part of. Because I'm sure if the two of them are sitting in final two, people are going to be asking her specifically, what moves have you done?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I would not even have told Gino. I would have saved it I would save that information for the final two because that's something people can use against you if they start seeing you in that much of a strategic light. I'm like, it could be dangerous if it gets out that you were the one who found it, because again, if you're in a final 4-3 situation and people are picking between you and they're like, and you and maybe like a Summer or something like that, then it's like, well, you're the strategic one. You're the one who found that flower. You're the one who, did all this behind her back without us realizing. So
what she had to do was she got a piece of paper that had a number on it. So it was 555-1212 was this number. And she had to go secretly into the telephone room. So she goes and she calls, and Big Brother voice speaks to her and say that what did he say? It's a rotary phone that she didn't necessarily know how to use, which I was like, oh my God, I had one. They were in the house before, like in my lifetime. It actually reminds me of when my best friend in high school's daughter was about 4. We went to a secondhand store and there was rotary phones in there, and she did not know what it was. She's like, Mama, what's that? Like,
I have 2 over here. So
I have one too, like decorative one. And I love playing with it.
Oh, mine works.
I cut the cord on mine. I found it in the trash, but it's gorgeous.
On the rotary phone, I was at my granny's house, and I was like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. I was quite young, and I wanted to try calling 911 with the rotary phone. And I called 911, and then they answered, and then I was like, and I like hung up the phone, and then they called back, and I cried. I was so scared.
Oh.
How old were you?
Traumatic.
I don't know, 3, 4, 5. Like, I was young.
Trouble
like,
from
I was like 23?
young age, right?
I knew you were trouble when you. So apparently Jacey-Lynne is a Big Brother super fan. I did not know this. Do you think that she just had to say that?
I don't know. Maybe she is. Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about her. I think she's a great player, but I have no interest in Jacey-Lynne.
So what she has to do now so she uses the rotary phone, she calls, she has to find a secret room. And so first off, she has to find 3 keys with 3 doors. And then with the 3 doors, she takes the keys from inside them, goes to another room after solving, she goes back to the secret room, calls the dude again, and then she has to go back to some new room and answer a puzzle. So I think it's actually pretty fun. I was pretty impressed that she was able to do it all without getting caught. She found all the mystery doors and all that stuff. So I thought I thought she did a good job. I was impressed that she was able to do it without anybody noticing whatsoever, and that she finished the puzzle, because that type of puzzle is pretty challenging. That you kind of have to fit pieces into a shape. Those ones are harder, I find, than like a regular puzzle. Like it's kind of like a tangram. Jonathan, how are you with those type of puzzles?
Good. But do we think that there was really 5 seconds left? I'm like, or are they like just putting that on the screen? I also think that they, again, producer involved, that they distract people and ask people
That's
to be in
true.
certain places and things like that. So I feel like, because they would never have it where someone's like, and yes, there's like a person walking around or two. She did also have a screen in the room where she could see if someone was right outside the door. But I think it was in her favor that she wasn't going to be caught.
Yeah, I would hope so.
What did you think of the rule that if so Arisa comes on the street after she finishes, solving the puzzle, and she says that if you let anybody know about this power, then you'd be instantly evicted.
I don't
Brutal.
believe it. I don't believe it. Yeah.
I wish it was forever. Like, you're never allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to tell anyone ever for the rest of the game.
Until
that would have
final
been
two.
more interesting. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was just one night, I think it's a ploy to scare her into not saying anything about it. And then, yeah, I just don't believe that they would. I feel like they would have been like, you're on slop for the rest of the game and blah, 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 whatever. They're not going to kick someone out because they've like accidentally mentioned it to someone or something like that, or, insinuated something or whatever. I mean, it just it prevents her going around being like, look what I have and I'm not using it for the game. Like, you can't be like, well, I have this. And if you don't do that, like, they're preventing that. And I think, if she went and did that and was very, in your face about it to many people, and which she wouldn't, but that would be a huge problem. But I don't think they were ever actually going to kick her out for anything.
So what the power does is it allows her to actually, use a veto after the regular veto ceremony. So changing the ultimate new result. So it's pretty heavy duty power. It might have gone off better when there was more people in the house, because things are just so locked in at this point that ruffling any feathers is not ideal necessarily. Like 3 episodes ago or 3 evictions ago, I'm sure everybody would have used it or they would have done something with it. But now the numbers are too small. Like, I just didn't see a chance at her using it. I mean, she could have tried to use it maybe to get out Summer, because Summer is not necessarily great for her game. So it would have been better if she was able to talk to one person maybe about it, so that she could be like, hey, like, what if I used it to, who do we want to take out? Maybe if we try to get somebody else out, that could be coming for us. Like, maybe not Marty, but maybe somebody else would be good to get out here. And so it could have been interesting if she tried to use it to benefit her game more so than just not taking out Marty,
Yeah,
So
I think if it was used in the first, maybe if it was introduced in like week 3 or 4 or something along those lines, then I would say that it's less likely that it's like, targeted towards certain people staying or going, and that it was just a part of the game that they wanted to put into it. But because, like you said, it seems like very late for something like that to be happening and all that kind of stuff, that I just
so late.
I think it would have been great for safety chain for the double eviction. There was no veto. If they had done that earlier on in the day and said, listen, you can use it in the next 24 hours at a veto ceremony, might tip off the person that there's a double eviction that evening. Or they could say, like, for the next veto competition, it's only good for them. That way there would be one veto in play, and that would have been really a cool wrinkle in the game that no one knew about. Everyone would be shocked except for the one person.
And they could have been pissed about being at the bottom. If it was Jacey-Lynne that said won again and was nearly got evicted, they use it on Gino, and then but who would be head of household? Who would do the replacement?
Probably
Maybe them.
Ooh,
I don't know. I think it kind of the idea of it's cool, but it negates kind of the whole safety chain element of it. So I don't know if they would have. I don't know that they would have, but I mean, I like that idea. This week was so weird to have that just randomly placed.
Yes.
Too late. So she wants to use it obviously for shock value, but she doesn't think that she's going to be able to use it. She goes and she talks to Gino, and she's being very cryptic, and in my opinion, very obvious that she has something that's going on. That she's like, "Are you sure that this is what we want to do?" And she's just like,
and he's like, "Why are you acting so weird?"
I'm not acting weird. You're acting weird. Like, she was actually very weird. And so she feels that this is the biggest decision of her game. I do think, though, that if she wants to get a lot of credit for it, using it would have been a little bit flashier, that she would be able to show that she was doing something for her game. So not necessarily to have Gino or Marty be backdoored, but like doing something to just show that she's playing somebody's game. Because right now it looks like, oh, because Gino doesn't want to use the veto, like, I'm not going to use the veto. It would have been nice that she did something for her game. Flashy.
Yeah, maybe the flashy move, though, would have been taking Summer off. If they wanted Moose gone, throw Josh up, throw Betty up. You can gain an ally with Summer, even if it's fake.
Who cares about
I'm sure
Summer's allyship, though?
But I'm sure she's aware that. But Summer could be a vote if the two of them are up on the block together, or Summer wins an endurance HOH. Like, there it is. Showman's on the block. That could have been, I don't know. It could have been an interesting thing for Jacey-Lynne to consider. But
just to do something.
I think they just wanted Moose out. Unfortunately,
he was a big enough threat for it to be like, oh, well, we have the votes to get this guy out, so why shake things up? I get it, but I wish she'd done something for her game here. So Summer's speech. What did you think, Jonathan, of Summer's speech? This is the one, I believe, where she says the Gino to Toto's. Yeah. From my head to my toes.
I don't even remember it. I don't even remember it. So what?
Okay.
You know what it was?
I mean, a little limerick. I didn't write it down. I thought I'd remember it.
I'm not a Summer fan, so I like.
That's why I was asking you.
I just forgot about it.
Well, I didn't write down Moose's, but Helena, of course, decides not to use the power of veto, but then she's immediately called to the diary room. And in the diary room, she gets an envelope, and everybody's like, oh my God, what's happening? And when she comes out, she mentions that there is a secret veto in play. So Moose has an opportunity to plead his case again, and same with Summer. This is where she says, I won't make any promises to anyone. You can kiss my black ass. I was like,
I remember that.
This isn't good gameplay. Like, get the damn person to take you off the block. I thought Moose's, what he said, he's like, I'll work with you. I'll do whatever you want. Whoever is a secret veto, like, let me play for you. Let me be your weapon. Like, he was doing at least something. Not like, I'm not going to make any promises. Kiss my ass. Like, I would just want to vote her out just for that.
I mean,
get out of here.
If Summer doesn't go, here's the thing. If you're smart, you're going to bring people like Summer and Betty to the end because you're absolutely going to beat them. But do I think Summer's going out in, we already talked about that there's a triple next week. So I do. I think Summer's going to be a fall victim to that.
Both Summer.
And so the secret veto holder does not stand up. Jacey-Lynne is putting on her best acting chops, and she chooses not to use it. And it's just everybody's like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? On the outro, Summer knows exactly who it is. So who did you guys think at that point that Summer thought was the secret veto holder?
I was just surprised that they all didn't know it was her because she was doing a terrible job of it's that kind of like that feigning kind of concern that where Jacey-Lynne doesn't act like that normally. So it's like she's actually like kind of excited about, weird things happening or whatever. So it was just not the fact that like no one, like Gino, you spent all your time with her. Like everyone was convinced it was Marty and, all that other stuff that we see in this episode. But I was just like, how do you not know that it's Jacey-Lynne? So I thought that Summer knew. That's what I thought. I was like, oh,
she clocked her. So Jojo, we're on to the eviction episode. What did you think of Miss Arisa Cox's dress this evening?
My God. One of our all-time worst. Just
what I was thinking to make it better
shocking.
Was because it's like stripes.
The fit was beautiful. The fit was beautiful. It fit her so well. The stripes, the green, the neon yellow, the I'm not even sure what type of blue that is with the brown.
Is it a toot or a boot for you?
It's a boot.
It's a.
Do you also guys watch the Bussy
Some
Queen?
boot.
He's like,
of course.
Rat. I love him.
Rat.
I say rat.
I love.
Do you watch him, Jonathan?
No, I don't even know what
Of
you're talking
course,
about.
yes.
I love how we talk about this all the time, and it's always like terrible dress after terrible.
Oh my
outfit or
god!
whatever.
Just
The only thing that I liked about her was her shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, shoes were amazing. Shoes were fantastic, and her hair looked incredible. And she looked like it fit her really nice. It did. Like the shape of it looked good.
To make that dress look good, I think that maybe on the bottom it needed to have like maybe it needs to be like folded more.
Maybe if it was to the floor, like
existing
ball gown to the floor, maybe some tulle. Like I like a trumpet. It was just the design itself. I'm sorry, it was just so brutal. Just
brutal. I mean, what I just don't understand also is that like she gets to say yes or no. Like Arisa, say no sometimes. Like you don't have to be that polite. You're not going to be a diva if you don't like the dress. Like they're
so
probably
her being like,
let's see if we can get her to wear this one. It's not doing well.
And she was crying backstage. She's like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out of this. Hi, I'm Arisa. I'm like, oh, tears streaming.
That's the thing. That's what I was trying to figure out too. Was I was thinking about this a few weeks
ago.
She
had a fitting. You know, she had a fitting.
Like, is she just really easygoing and like whatever whatever you want, 100%. Or is it like she has bad taste as well? Like I like is she picking these out?
It's this season that it's been really bad. She like last season she looked incredible every week.
You know how like COVID, when you get COVID, you lose your
yes.
She lost her style taste.
Yeah, I guess. Did she have it? I don't know. Maybe
she used to. She looked great.
I mean, I'm wondering if she treats it kind of like a job. Like, so if I was like working on set, I just like whatever they put me in. But I still say like, this doesn't look that great on me. Like, I sometimes I might suggest that, but I'm pretty easygoing when I'm on set. So
yeah,
maybe she's just being like agreeable as a.
She's been the host since day one, and I just don't see a world where if you're not happy with what you're wearing, even if you like remotely being like, oh, they wouldn't change it like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
and there must have been options that she said no to. Like she didn't just try on one dress.
Yeah. So as much as I've been blaming the like designer or costume people,
Lisa.
Maybe this is Arisa being like, this is what I prefer, this kind of stuff. And then she shows her other things and she says no. And then she says yes to this stuff.
Like some sleek, super amazing thing. She's like, no, I want to go for like the striped trumpet dress. Asymmetrical. That doesn't look good.
It's like in casting, it's everyone thinks, oh, the casting director picks no, we don't. We present options. And so don't blame the casting director if there's a bad actor in a film, because sometimes we might have shown all the great ones that could have played this role. And then you went with someone who we didn't really want to show, but we kind of had to. And I wonder if that's the same way with the dresses or what's going on. I don't know.
Painful.
You know what? Arisa needs I need some tweets, Arisa. I need you to tweet out if this is your choice, what's happening, behind the scenes.
Not cute. You're gorgeous. Please wear some gorgeous things. I want to support this designer or this stylist but I personally would never use this particular stylist because that I'm not enjoying what's being presented. I'm sure that they have great taste, but these should never have been options.
No, they don't. Not this season anyway.
It starts off this episode with Jacey-Lynne acting, and she says, just a little smidge of fun. And I'm like, she's so obviously the person that was the secret veto holder.
Oh, like and everyone's like, and like Gino's like, did you look at Marty? Did you see his face? I'm like, did you look at Jacey-Lynne? That's right next.
Like, she's standing with you like this. Like, what do you think it's Marty?
We were just questioning her yesterday of her acting strange all day. Like, put two and two together.
So yeah, so he thinks that it's Marty that has it, and that Marty looks so guilty, and I think she looks so guilty in this point. And so we see after Jacey-Lynne talking to herself in the room, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's Marty. No, it's me." Like she's kind of like playing up like the fact that like she hasn't told anybody that it was her, and she's getting away with it, and everybody thinks it's Marty. And I'm like, it's not that good acting, girl. But these people are, I guess, quite gullible and naive, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Ooh.
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 So Summer also thinks that Marty has it 100%. He's dead to her now. Betty, Summer, Moose, and Josh are all playing pool, and they all are talking about Marty and how much they don't like Marty. And I mean, Marty hasn't been like that great to them, and I don't think I would enjoy him in the house either. I did find it funny, Josh doing a little bit of an impersonation of Marty, like coming into the room and like getting in on those conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't want someone to feel like an outsider or an outcast, absolutely, but like, it's also his fault because he hasn't been that likable.
His behavior's been like pretty out of control at times. And we've had so many feed cuts because of his behavior and production trying to save his butt. So
rumor has it he was trying to
no
quit.
Sympathy.
That's
I have
what
no
the rumor
sympathy
is
for Marty.
too.
Yeah.
Agreed. So Marty, Kevin, and Jacey-Lynne are talking. What happened here? Oh, and so Marty is like thanking Kevin and Jacey-Lynne, and he's like, I mean, if it was you guys that had the secret veto, thank you so much. I think that it could have been, it could have been bad for me. I could have been the backdoor option. And so Marty thinks though that it was Betty that had the secret veto. So how do you think he came to this conclusion?
Betty would use Betty and Josh. He blames Betty for everything. She's the first name out of his mouth when it's anything negative. It's Betty. Betty's running the house. Betty's the secret
lured
veto.
Me into this plan.
The trap. Betty tried to trap me. Yeah, he loves to throw Betty's name out.
We've even seen that on the show, not even just on the live feeds. Yeah,
live feeds. He is worse about Betty. So, but a lot of them have been. A lot of them have been really rude about.
Say again.
Yeah. He's been really rude about Betty and Josh in general.
It's very unsettling, I have to say. We see Marty and Helena talking, and Helena I think she's doing a good job with setting up the next target. So she's talking now about how Gino is the smartest person. Helena tells him that Gino probably would have backdoored him if the veto was used. So I thought that was also good, letting him know that she saved him by not using the veto. So I thought that was good work on Helena's part for kind of setting up the next target to be Gino, even with potentially Marty. So Marty also says that Summer doesn't scare him. Would Summer scare either of you guys?
No, I'd be in line with Summer, so I'd be fine with Summer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like when you have, like, we know Betty's very petty, as she says, and Summer is too. Same thing. I would be aligning with those people because ultimately the likelihood of, do I want to take them to the end, and or will they end up on jury? I don't want to do them wrong, so because they will hold that against you. So I would, if they go out, it's because by someone else's hand, and fine. Or I would take them with me because they're not going to win. So I would absolutely be aligned with Betty and Summer would be my people. That's
I'd probably be, oh my God, I'd probably be with Helena and Kevin.
I mean,
gladly.
I would want that as well. Yeah, for sure.
But I think Kevin and Helena should want to be at the end with Betty and Summer.
Yes.
I think that should be their ideal final four.
It should be everybody's final four.
Cut Josh at 5 or Marty. They should hope to get Gino out next. Jacey-Lynne has already won a veto, safety, a secret veto she's had in her pocket, and I think she won something else. What else has she won?
If I was those like Helena or Kevin, same thing. I would be like, the people who need to go out are Gino, Jacey-Lynne, and Josh. Those are the people who can win things. Those are the people.
And Marty. Marty needs to go too.
Oh, sorry. I in my head he's already gone. But
everyone beats Marty at the end.
But
So like
not necessarily. Herman said that
I would be worried about it
if
too.
Marty gets to
I'd be
the
worried.
end, I would vote for him because he shouldn't be there. He should be gone.
I would be worried about that as well.
even
I
with his
would
bad behavior, I don't know.
Marty, Josh,
They can't see
Jacey-Lynne,
it.
and Gino would be like, they all need to go. I wouldn't even touch anyone else, like not even like as an option. I should be trying to protect them all as they would. I mean, Kevin needs to go if they're all super smart about it, but
Yeah.
like seemingly from what you can tell just by like wins and stuff like that, those other people need to go. So I don't actually know what their plans are as far as like who they want to take to the finals or anything like that.
Oh, it's all very messy.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see Summer and Helena playing pool, and Summer is pissed that Helena didn't use the veto on her. And so she now really wants to win power. And I'm like, okay, good. Want to win some power. I think that you're in this position, Summer, because you've chosen not to win power, or you couldn't win power, whichever it was. But like, you need to, if you want to be in a better position in the game, you gotta have to place yourself there. You can't just hope that everybody's just gonna keep you to the end and just drag you to the end when you really don't offer that much. So yes, win some power and take somebody out that you feel slighted by. So I'm hoping that this week will kick her in the butt so that we, that she kind of does something. Cause like I'm bored with this floater game.
I mean, I was even watching Taryn earlier today. Yeah. And because they were talking about like how no one wants Helena, like no one would put up Helena. And then they were like, well, not even Summer. And he was saying like, not even Summer, even though this all went down, where she's like petty about that. So I'm like, is that an indication that Summer's like not really going to? I mean, is Summer going to win anything? Who knows? But I guess we'll get into that later because this HOH.
We're almost there. So Moose and Josh are playing chess, and he's starting to campaign. And Josh doesn't say anything when Moose is campaigning. But I think that Moose is doing a good job campaigning. Yep. And I think that Josh should maybe consider it because, like, for Josh, you do want to have maybe a couple people in front of you. I think that he thinks he's more protected than he actually is. But Marty wants to put Josh up. Marty was wanting Josh to be the person going up this round with Gino. So go ahead.
Sorry, even Kevin and Helena are considering taking Josh out before Gino. They're considering it this week.
Exactly.
Which is way too soon to take out Josh. It should be one of the showmans, then Josh, then Marty. But they're considering Josh this week. So, yikes.
Yikes is right. Then Petty Betty, this was a funny scene. So she loves a good show. And she goes and she sits in Summer's seat on the bed, and Summer's sitting where she was last week, and she's imitating Summer as when Summer was saying that she was kind of on the fence and she didn't know what she wanted to do. And so they both started role playing as each other. I found this enjoyable.
I loved that. Yeah, it was cute.
It really drives it home though. And if Summer can't pick up on how she's being perceived by others with her actions, especially from this, when it's like really displayed in front of her, I don't know if there's any hope for Summer in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's like someone basically telling you in a light kind of jokingly way, but like, this is what you did to me last week. Like, I can do it to you too. And
even Betty, though, in the diary room after, laughing, be like, Summer's campaign is terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
3 out of 10.
Betty, saying this?
3 out of 10. Yeah.
Like, Betty's not that great at campaigning. So, like,
I mean, she went hard last week.
I think Betty did a pretty good job of campaigning. To be
better than Summer is, but she's not. Like amazing. Like, she basically saying like, I'll be a number for you. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't really have that many amazing points, but like, she did a better job than Summer's doing this week. Absolutely.
Summer didn't do a job. Summer just told a bunch of people that she wasn't going to make anyone any promises about anything. Yep. I'm like,
okay, we need to just talk about this because she says this to everybody. What the F? Like, all three of us have been able to campaign successfully to a certain extent. So, like, how much would you never say, I'm not going to make you any promises when you're trying to get them to do something for you? Like,
I don't
what?
think that would come out
Promise
of any of their mouth.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I had a secret power that I just knew I wouldn't be evicted, and I would maybe say, I'm not going to promise you anything. No. But
You wouldn't even do that because that would ruin your game in the
No.
future.
Yeah, just
Like, listen, saying it to one person because you don't want to tick them off and saying like, look, I want to keep you here. I can't make any promises, but
No, but when you're the one asking for the vote,
let's find a way to keep you. Like, I can understand in that type of situation. So those
Yeah.
words coming out of your mouth when you're,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. When you're sitting on
But
the
it's you.
clock
Yeah.
and it's you and you're like pitching your case as to why they should vote to keep you. And you're like, because I'm Summer, just do it. Like, I was
I'm
just
not gonna
like,
make you any
I don't,
promises, but keep me.
eh,
Why?
why?
Like, why?
Sorry, why should I keep you?
Because you're not gonna make me any promises. So why should I keep you again?
I would come up with something really good to say when I was like, putting Summer on the block and if she was my target.
Be like,
I would have something really
I
good
mean,
to say.
I didn't make any
Ooh.
promises either. So Summer,
Yeah.
time to take a seat.
Yeah.
Bye.
So we have date night. The showmans are making some ice cream in the head of household room, and Jacey-Lynne started to do some first date questioning and asks Gino to tell her something that she doesn't know about him already. And he says that he's a lover boy. And she's like, oh, I already know that. And she's like, well, I mean, most people don't think that about me, but like, I'm a good guy. Like, I like being in relationships. I'm a lover boy. Do you think that he's a lover boy? Come here, lover boy.
I think he's an F boy.
You do? I don't think he's an F boy,
Yeah.
actually. He's a Cancer.
No, I don't know.
Cancers are
He looks like an
homebodies.
F boy.
That's what he's saying. He's a lover boy.
Yeah, he feels like he's like chill vibes and would stick. Like, you would have to break up with him.
They're gonna say like stick his.
No.
Ooh.
I think that's how it works. But I feel like it's he would he would just be in a relationship with you long after it expired. You know what I mean? If you don't break up with him, it just seems like he's like, yeah. I mean, he seems like a wholesome, good person. Like it sometimes just looking at him. Not that there's anything wrong with or anything, but there's like an edginess when you have someone who has tattoos on their head and their neck and stuff like that you just assume. And so his personality mixed with all the edgy tattoos, which I like on him.
What personality?
Just
I think Gino is basic as F. I think he is gorgeous to look at. I think he's a nice person. But that man is boring.
But like calm, I like borings. But I mean like calm, just like I'm the non-boring one. But just like kind of calm, just nothingness of just sitting there doing whatever, mixed in with these edgy tattoos. Like,
You're not boring, Jonathan. There's no way. You have a personality. Gino has no personality.
I like boring. I think I'm the crazy one. So I need someone else who like balances the boringness.
What's your Venus in, Jonathan? I forget.
She better
what?
I don't know what she's in, but I don't know.
Didn't I tell you?
I'm like Libra.
No, I mean you might be, but that's not what I'm asking. Where did I send your chart? I need to find your chart. Because if your Venus, so my Venus is in Sagittarius, and so I think that means because Sagittarius is like wants to experience new things and free and like long distance travel and experience new cultures, and so Venus is where you find your values, and so I'm thinking that Gino's values is probably also in Cancer, which is like home and family and it's unit, you know what I mean? And so I could see him being loyal in a relationship in the sense that like staying in a relationship.
Gino screams like trustworthy to me. If I was playing this game and Gino told me something, I would 100% believe him. He would, and if he played me, he would have me there because he doesn't scream like someone who would like backstab me or betray me for no reason, unless getting back at me, Marty.
Right,
Kyle.
But he was pretty good at lying to Marty, I have to say. Like when he had that conversation with him, like I was like, okay, that's pretty good. That you.
Why are they trying to paint him as like a dummy? I'm like, he seems like a really smart person to me. Whether you're good at like not good at math or something, who cares? But it's like he seems like actually like intelligent and
I think
good at a whole spectrum of things. So I didn't appreciate the edit on Gino. Yeah, He's over it.
But did you see Gino in the Speedo? Maybe it was
Yes.
yesterday or the day before. Oh, he lost a bet and had to wear like this neon green leopard print Speedo. And he stayed in it for quite some time. And I'm very glad he did.
Whoa,
He
whoa,
looked
whoa.
fantastic.
Why did they have that in the house? Like, who's green?
I think
I don't
he
know
brought
whose it
it, to
was.
be honest. I think it's
Was it
his.
his?
I think it's
See?
his. I think he
Edgy.
said he had another one as well, or maybe
He had
I'm
an elephant.
making it up.
He said he had elephant undies that he didn't bring, and he should have brought. And I said, yes, you should have.
And that's not boring. See?
That's not boring. His body is not boring. That man is chiseled, sculpted.
I mean, I think I could bring out the fun in Gino. Because he seems like the person that would also say yes to things. So, like, I know that he's kind of boring, but like, I think that if I was like, hey, let's go do this, hey, let's go do that, like, I think that he would be up for it. So, he might not come up with the ideas, but I think that he's fun enough to go along with the ideas. You know?
Yeah.
I'd truly be terrified to do Big Brother because I believe that I would end up like Christine, and just like, you know, just
Which Christine? Season
remember
16?
Christine?
Oh, 16, yeah.
Yeah, and just like
Yeah,
or
booed
even
when
Sarah
he
Hanlon.
leave the house.
Sarah Hanlon's had some hate for like her relationship with Willow while having a boyfriend outside of the house. I'm like, yeah, if I had a connection with someone, I'd be like, all right, we're here for how many days? Let's go for it. I don't care if it's on camera. I'll deal with it later. Whatever.
Hi, Natalie. Natalie wants to know if we watch X on the Beach yet. No, I'm going to watch it right after this. I'm very excited to watch it. I know, Jonathan, you haven't been watching it yet, but last week, Min Lee came in and like a tornado. Like Dave Vaughn is like off a rocker. It's pretty wild, we'll say. Have you watched any of it, Jojo?
No, unfortunately not. I've seen a couple clips on Twitter.
You should watch it. It's kind of fun. So back to this date night. So she lets him know that she found the secret veto, and he thinks that she's lying to him in the beginning, which I think is funny. And
he would.
I think he got turned on by it because at the end they're kind of cuddling, and he's like, you know, you played me, you played the house, and you know, you completed this mission. He was impressed, and I think that he had a bit of a boner for it. Mm-hmm.
I think his kink is being lied to. Because he's into he like whenever he hears like Summer's after him, he's like, okay, I need to go. Like, I'm gonna go hang out with Summer. Like, I need to be with her. I like this. Like, people are like, Summer's after you. He's like, oh, good. I like it. Yeah, okay. I'm aware. It's his kink.
I'll be a little nicer and then just say that I think Gino is someone who, because of his personality, is very introverted. You know, what he has on the outside is very flashy, an amazing body, a lot of tattoos, he's a firefighter, right?
Yeah.
A heroic kind of, you know, job, which is very admirable. You know, so to me, it's someone who seeks attention, but like from a different way of not, you know, coming from within themselves and the personality, but from like doing other things. So yeah. I do think he likes the attention of it all.
Yes, I totally agree.
And maybe it's his thing in the bedroom too. Maybe Jojo.
I mean, 100%. He's probably like, lie to me, baby.
Yeah. Yes. Want to vote me out? Yes. Oh. So like, Jacey-Lynne cuts him at final 3. He's just gonna explode. He's gonna be like, yeah, I love you. Yes. He proposes afterwards on his way out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like someone like getting him. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you got me. Oh yes, baby. I mean, good gameplay is sexy, right? Like that's why Kevin's starting to look cute because he's so smart. Like it's appealing.
Okay, and side note, did anyone see that clip of Josh and Kevin
when he was like playing on his stomach or like?
And it looks like Kevin's gonna go in for a kiss, and Josh's reaction, it is kind of hot. There's a moment where Josh is like he's gonna accept a kiss from Kevin, and Kevin's wearing his hat because he's hotter in a hat. It's all very homoerotic. They're horny. They have not been around their loved ones for a while. I'm not kidding. If there was no cameras, those two would have been like, let's just get it over with.
Very broke back Big Brother.
1,000%.
It was definitely. I was like, whoa, there's a lot of homoerotic energy going on here.
Like Kevin was feeling it. Like he was into it. It was hot.
Kevin was probably playing the game, but
I think he was into it. I think he was turned on.
Did they show that in the episode, or was this online on feeds?
Okay. On feeds. I'll find it for you. I'll send it to you.
It was like they're all having. They showed a part of this conversation last episode, I think, where they were all like laying with each other, like outside in the backyard with like all the different couches. So they were all kind of in that area.
Right.
Everyone's all together. So this was out of order, though. Tell me if I'm correct here, Jojo. But so Summer still wants to flirt with Gino, and so that whole scene when she's sitting behind his back, that was like maybe even the week before. Like, remember I was telling you about it, Jonathan?
Yeah, you were telling me all about it, and it felt, because I heard about this so long ago, I was like, oh, well, they're showing it finally, like a piece of it anyway. But like, yeah, it was very old news, right? So I'm like, they needed a 5 minutes? Did they need like an extra something, or is it just like another element to
they wanted the storyline,
like, Summer, Gino, Jacey-Lynne thing? I mean, I'm glad they showed it, don't get me wrong,
but like it was literally at least a week and a half ago that it happened, right? Like, it was so long ago. Summer wasn't evicted. Whomever was the last person,
you see like Jets in the background still,
right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
Kyle walks by,
there, like, it's so long ago, and I was like, it was just so confusing because I don't think it added to the storyline, because she would never do that with like the circumstances, right? Like, she's mad at Gino a little bit. She's Jacey-Lynne. She's mad at Jacey-Lynne. Like, all this stuff. Like, it's happened so long ago that like she wouldn't do that right now.
It seems more erratic with it happening within this time period.
This week when she's on the block. And laughing about it, and so rightfully so. Jacey-Lynne is upset for the fact.
I just realized that Herman was sitting across from Gino and it was happening, and he kept saying like, help me out, joking like,
wait, can we see Herman in it?
Yeah, he's absolutely sitting across from them. You can like, his back is to us, but that's him, and he's saying like, oh my God, Herman, help me out, ha ha ha.
So they're fully using a clip with Herman in the clip, and they're trying to make it seem like it happened this week.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I've talked about it before. Hell's Kitchen is the worst for that. There's like a contestant eliminated 4 episodes ago that you see cooking in the background still. So I mean, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
So she does get a little bit upset, obviously, and she goes into the storage room and talks to Kevin about it. She's like, well, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I've already talked about this. It's just so weird. But she just like, I'm not gonna do anything anymore about this. Like, if that's what she wants to do, like, I don't want to be involved. And like, I wouldn't want to be involved in like some weird triangle. Like, I don't need to do that, And so then Gino comes in and he goes in for a kiss and she denies the kiss. I was like, good. But they worked it out for sure. Because we did see the conversation already where she apologizes. So when she was originally campaigning for Gino to not put her on the block, didn't they show on the episode that she's apologized and said, like, I'm sorry, Jacey, like I told Jacey-Lynne that I wasn't going to do that anymore and I apologized. Like, I thought she said that.
Something like that, or they touch upon something like that indicates that. Yeah, something. I feel like I saw that.
Because it was referring to this. Okay, maybe I saw it on Twitter for sure. Maybe I saw the whole conversation on Twitter or on the live feeds. And then we saw some of it on the episode. But anyways, the part that we saw in the episode when she was saying the reasons why she thinks that Gino should keep her in the game is that she's like good for information and they trust each other. That was the same conversation where she apologizes for that situation with Jacey-Lynne. She didn't want to make Jacey-Lynne mad. They didn't have the label on their relationship yet. So she felt that she was still free game, but she's not going to do that anymore. Sorry, go Jojo.
She also told Gino, like, if you ever nominate me, I'll give you the kiss of death. And that's why she decided not to do it, because of that whole conversation she had with Jacey-Lynne. She's like, no, like, because people were asking, where was the kiss of death? And she was like, I'm not going to do that to Jacey-Lynne and embarrass her. So if she wasn't around, I would have gotten up and done it and like stayed true to the kiss of death. But she's like, I didn't want to push any buttons, which was, one of the few mature things that Summer has done in the house.
Fair. So we see Moose campaigning to Kevin. Kevin seems to think that he's like the best campaigner of the season. I don't know if I agree with that. But I guess because I think that Herman would have been maybe a more effective, but he didn't have all the information. So maybe he was. What do you guys think? Do you think Moose has been the best?
He survived the block on a vote, didn't he? Against Tanisha. which, like wasn't that hard to do, as we've seen. But the way the evictions have been happening, like we have, tonight, one person has won HOH that is competing. There are 2 people left in the game that have won HOH. Everyone else has been evicted that has been HOH. So that stat, I don't know if that's a record, but that's not a lot of people for final 8. 2 out of 8 people have had HOH. 1 is eligible this week.
Wow.
And most likely we'll probably see a new HOH tonight. I'm hoping.
All right. Well,
I'm really
we're going to
hoping.
get to that in 2 seconds. So
Do we know who?
Summer, I don't know yet.
Okay.
Summer is a terrible campaigner, apparently. Then we see Josh go into the background, and he starts screaming because we have another sponsored moment. So now we know why the feeds were down for the last few days, because 1 was for the Secret Veto and 2 was for Muskoka Spirits. Spring has sprung, and they have a little party for them out in the backyard, I guess it is, back area.
Can I just tell you, if I was in this house, I would have sauntered my way out there, sat down, started picking at little. I would have it for myself. I would not be running back in, sharing it with anybody.
I think that they probably tell you have to.
And then I'd be like, yeah, I'll get there. They'll be like, Jonathan, you need to. I'll be like, yeah, I'll get there. Let me have some strawberries. You know what I mean? Like it would have been a totally different vibe. It would have been like happy music, and then let's just like cut to like this like slow. I'm like, why are you sharing this with everyone right away?
Yeah, look around.
I can actually see you doing that, sitting down, like,
yeah.
And then be like, okay, fine, let me go get everybody else now.
Yeah,
guys, I'm having strawberries outside. Have you ever had a Muskoka Spirit?
I haven't. No.
Is it like a cider? What is it?
I don't drink.
Or is it spirit? So I guess it would be alcoholic, but
I think it's like is a spirit like a cooler or more of like a spritzer?
I'd say spirit would be like a vodka drink or an alcohol-based drink, is what I would think.
Like a cooler, like
a Mike's Hard Lemonade is kind of where I would think, or like a Smirnoff Ice.
Quick story: when I turned 19, I had a full summer of drinking Smirnoff Ice. I went to the dentist before that summer began. After school, teeth were fine. Went to the dentist at the end of the summer of Smirnoff Ice, and I had 7 cavities.
You should have been on this particular veto competition yesterday.
Yeah, just
you know what you
need?
You need a Philips Sonicare toothbrush. Philips Sonicare.
Yeah, Philips Sonicare.
That's
again.
terrible.
Never
well,
again.
Do you know what? It's probably my fault, because at that time I was working for a company called oh my god, I forget the name of the company. It's now called Mixer, but it used to be called, oh my god, I forget. I'll see if I remember later on this podcast. But it was when Smirnoff Ice first came onto the market, and so I was hired to be a Smirnoff officer. And so our outfits were like, like a cop shirt, sexy cop, like tie, like show my midriff with like aviator glasses and a cap and like a mini skirt and thigh high boots or thigh highs. And they would always elect me, because I was just obnoxious, to come in with the megaphone on siren. And so I'd run in and I'd jump up on the bar and I'd be like, all right, nobody move, nobody gets hurt. This is a Smirnoff Ice raid. And like, we'd go around, we'd give people infractions. So we'd be like beat cops, and so their infractions were like, I'd give to you like illegal boy band member, or like if we're in Barrie, it would be like the illegal missing tooth length or tooth whatever infraction. Like we could make up our own, and then we had a few that were just like kind of silly. So we'd go out and give infractions, and then they'd go and plead their case to like the one guy that was on our team, and like they'd get a free Smirnoff Ice and a cozy. And I actually should show you now. I found it at my mom's house. I have a full-on bag still full of Smirnoff Ice cozies, like probably like 50 of them. But yeah, I did that for a whole summer. No, the megaphone had to go back. But like, yeah, I traveled across, it was all across Ontario, but like we'd stay in hotels, and like we just like go to every city in Ontario, doing Smirnoff Ice raids at every major bar, going to London, Ontario, going to, like, it was super fun.
Officer.
So
I love Smirnoff Officer.
Smirnoff Officer. Plain and Simple was the name of the company that I worked for at that
There it
time.
is.
Plain and Simple.
Love
So
it.
that's my original experience with Smirnoff Ice before
Oof.
icing was a thing. I
If
brought it on.
Screw
Smirnoff
Muskoka.
Ice wants to sponsor us,
Yeah.
we will accept that as well.
Screw Muskoka.
Even after
spirits.
the rotting teeth segment.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh.
Fine.
Oy vey.
So Kevin thinks that Summer is a terrible campaigner. Oh, sorry, I said that. So yes, they do get to have their Muskoka spirits. And the have-nots are officially off slop, and they're so excited. Betty, Helena, and Josh all make wonderful toasts about their experience here in the Big Brother house. Blah, blah, blah. So this is where they're painting Gino in a negative light. Jonathan was pointing out where they're on the couch, and I actually couldn't understand what I was trying to figure out what Gino's thought process was, because he was saying that there's 25 hours in a day, but like, was he saying that just because 25 is an easier number to divide, but he stopped taking into account that you had to take away 4 from every 100?
They were cutting too much and clearly editing it in a way to make him look like an idiot. So on behalf of Gino, I don't appreciate the edit. But and we couldn't figure out where he was going with this, because they were just taking bits and pieces of, I'm sure, what he was saying. And like, you know, when you're doing those things kind of out loud to yourself, you're just kind of maybe not making sense if someone's just listening to you. And I don't know that it's not like he was trying to explain it to Moose. I feel like he was just asking him questions as he was like trying to talk to himself out loud and figuring things out. So
he was trying to think about the red door. And so the red door, the numbers keep changing. I haven't put any thought into it, but have you guys had any idea as to what might be the mystery of the red door?
I didn't even know there was a red door. So I was
like, maybe they only talked about it in the feeds. That's possible.
Yeah, there was something that like clicked for me last week, but I honestly don't remember. It's gonna go down to like
click.
Well, didn't Moose say like it's he figured out, like, as far as timing wise, that it's like week 9 eviction night or something like that? Or
is it?
I think they were speculating that. Oh, like, you're saying
the way it's counting down, they figured out that it's like represents the
how many days are left or hours are left.
So yeah, so he's like I'm telling you, it's like week 9 eviction night or HOH or whatever. He said something on the show. So
I'm wondering if it's going to be like the door will open and it'll be like a Tara Jed moment where like the last 2 evicted get to compete and one gets to come back in through the door. Maybe like 2 people
there's
behind
like
each
20
door.
days left. There's not very much.
I mean, there's
time
a triple
left.
eviction. Oh, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if there's enough time left. Because triple eviction, so what? We're at 7 essentially. Triple eviction, so I guess we'd be at 4, and then we'd still have 2 full weeks left.
Well, we have 8 people left this week.
3 full weeks. Oh, it's
8
left.
people this week.
Oh, right, and head of household. Yeah.
And then, so we'll go from 8 to
Thursday.
5, and then I guess it'll just be finale week from then on.
No, but doesn't it end the second week of May or first week of May?
Oh God, is it the first week?
I don't like triple evictions. I'm like
double
I'm okay with, but like it's like too much.
Yeah,
it's like
it's not good. It's not fun. It's not good gameplay.
It's like having 5 drag queens at the end of a season. You know what I mean? It's like
too much.
It's not.
It's true. I agree.
It's too much. I don't like it.
All right. So Jacey-Lynne and Summer are talking, and Summer, actually, this is also an old conversation. But because this was before the veto was played, so it would have had to been probably last week on the weekend. So Jacey-Lynne even recognizes that Summer is a bad campaigner. Again, she's saying, like, I'm not going to make any promises to you. So Jacey-Lynne's like, okay. Why are we talking then?
Cool.
Why? What's the point of her campaign if she's not going to make any promises or show how she's valuable? Or, you know, like, she's basically saying, like, I'm not really valuable to your game because I don't want to commit to anything, because that means that, like, I wouldn't be able to put you up in certain circumstances. So I don't want to commit to anything because you're somebody that I might want to put up on the block.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yikes.
Exactly.
Because like anybody else, you would say like, I'm 100% not putting you up on the block, like something like that. Like,
But
anyways.
like, I don't even know why she phrases it like that. Like, she has it in her head for some reason. Because why can't you say like, "Look, I have no plans on putting you on the block," like, or just like something where
Yeah.
it's not a promise, but an indication of something that she can then go back on. Like, why is it so definitive? Why is it so like, I can't promise you anything? And it's a negative on top of that. It's like, it's not good with dealing with people in or out of the game. You would never say something in a negative form towards someone and think that you're going to get a positive result out of it.
Yeah.
No, it's at all. So, but then we see a better campaign strategy. So Moose and Betty are talking, and she likes his campaign, and she goes and tells Josh that, about what Moose is saying, but Josh thinks that it's just kind of lip service. I actually don't think it's lip service. I think that Moose wants to say, and they don't show it on the feeds, but everybody really thinks that Moose is lying about the fact that he's only seen one season, and that was season 6 because he knows Erica. And so I think that that's also haunting him because they think that he's actually a better game player than he actually is. But like, I think that he was being kind of honest. I think that he would be willing to be like, take the shot that people are asking for. I think that he would follow through with that. I don't think that he would turn around and be like, ha, I got you guys. Like, I don't think that he has it in him. I think that he would be grateful and he would want to stick to his promise.
I think he's just too much of a threat for everyone else.
Yeah,
in the sense that he really could go where the power is and targets are lined up. I just think there was no saving Moose.
Yeah, but Betty wants Josh to think about it, and I think it could be something for them to consider because Summer is not that great for their game, to be honest, and she's not promising anything. She hasn't won anything. She's throwing everything. Like, she's just not good for your game, to be fair. So I unfortunately wouldn't be keeping Moose 100% in this scenario. So we have the eviction ceremony. Summer said something, #Afromance for life to Arisa. Even with her speeches, like, yes, they're entertaining and, bubbly, but like, say something please along the line of getting people to vote for you to stay. Like, don't make them not want to keep you, be like, oh, I wish I didn't keep her. She's annoying.
Yeah. But I don't know if they're generally annoyed by her or not. Like, I don't think there's like an underlining
Summer antics. Yeah,
exactly. She's just being Summer.
Moose, though, had his speeches about loyalty, and I'm one for loyalty, though. Summer doesn't seem like a loyal person to me, right? So definitely I would go with somebody that would be willing to promise me things. That's one stuff that like I at least could be by my side. Summer, I'm not gonna promise you anything and I don't win anything. Like, she would be useless to me. So
you know what I hate about
Moose,
the final speeches is that there's like, is anyone ever like really convinced one way or the other? Like, why do we even have them? And then beyond that, it's like, just with what they're wearing, you can tell if they know that they're going home or not, because one person's prepared for the comp and the other person's dressed very nicely. Like they're going to meet Arisa. So there's something about that I feel like could be fixed, that I don't enjoy. And I like almost want to fast forward through it because I'm like,
I don't want to hear the shout outs.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, we've had some good moments this year. Like, Tanisha's speech was great. Herman got some things off his chest. When they know they're going home, sometimes they give it a little extra sass.
I mean,
we like to sass.
I like giving a good eviction speech. I'm usually I don't go out quietly. Absolutely,
I would rather them say something once they're like, here, you've been evicted, please say your final words. Like, you know what I mean? Rather than hear both of them kind of just say whatever or something. I don't know.
I hear you, though. It needs to be workshopped for sure. So everybody goes in to vote. Marty compliments Arisa on her dress. If that's not like makes you angry, like, that should be a reason enough for Marty to be evicted. It was the fact that he don't robe magnifique. Shut up. Like, it's not a good looking a pretty robe dress. Like, shut up, Marty.
I mean, I would not be asking Marty for
Fashion advice. No.
Well,
Yeah.
if Barty is into your dress, you should be like, oh,
Take it off.
okay, new stylist.
Yeah.
Anna says yes, the speeches are usually annoying. The voting, especially if you are catching up on episodes. Yes, like we could probably cut through that, but it's kind of tradition, I guess. I don't hate Marty. I just can't stand him.
She hates.
Yeah, I don't care for him.
I don't know if I hate anyone on a TV show, but I really don't like him or his personality or what I know about what I think, who we think he is.
Yeah, we throw around hate, but like I'm okay with throwing around hate when I just really dislike someone. So
yeah, you're not.
From what I know about him, maybe
him.
I would love him in real life, but so right now, no. So it's a unanimous vote, and Moose is leaving, and we couldn't see who, but someone says, I think Moose says to Josh, "Have fun unwrapping your trophy." Did you guys hear that?
No.
Oh, I wasn't sure who. I think he was saying it to Josh, and so I was trying to figure out what that means. Like, as in he wins the game, or
now that you're saying it, I'm like, wait, I did hear that, but I'm like, I can't place it.
I didn't hear it.
Zoned out for a second. Yeah.
I could hear Moose, but I couldn't see who he was hugging when he was saying that. So, and I think it was Josh, but I didn't understand what that meant. Anyways, we have a little mini interview with Arisa and Moose. She seems like she was a fan of Moose to a certain extent. I think he was really great in that interview. He's quite likable in the interview for sure. And I love that he was like, it was really a dream come true to be on the show. And so I liked how he went out. I felt sad for him though, because like I don't like sometimes when people's dreams, especially when they're trying so hard to stay, that it just kind of gets like pulled out from under them. So yeah.
I mean, is this his dream though? Like, isn't he like a new Big Brother?
Well, no, I didn't say dream. Well, dream come true. Like, it's like that's a pretty amazing experience to like be on a national television show.
His goal this year was to be on. Like, he applied for a bunch of UK reality shows, a bunch of shows, and Big Brother Canada is the one that he ended up booking, and that was what he wanted to do this year, was to like
famous on TV,
be on TV for this year and see where it brings him for his career. Yeah.
I mean, if I was 19, I would be applying to every single reality TV show.
Moose
like
is 19?
No, he's 24.
Like
20,
but if
if I was his age, I would definitely be applying to everything. Of course it would be.
Yeah. Master Chef.
Maybe not Master Chef.
Canada's baking, like everything.
Wait, what?
Natalie.
Oh, thank God they stopped doing the dancing down.
Yay,
I mean,
we're
I
happy
also half like it though, like because it's so like typical Big Brother, like do like a little, handshake and high fives and stuff like that. I don't hate it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's cute.
So just before we close out today, so they're going to be hanging on for dear life, and it is some sort of cliff hanging. What was it called? Did you guys catch what it was called?
Mount
Head of Household. Mount Head of Household. Mount HOH.
Mount Heteris.
And I said, oh lordy, Marty's probably going to win this one, because remember he keeps on saying like, you're going to have to rip my hands off of a wall if I'm going to be in any sort of wall comp. I'm sure his hurt shoulder and his hurt knee is not going to affect him in this wall comp at all.
I'll tell you who's not winning. Kevin.
Kevin was
puffing 3 seconds on that wall.
I thought he was gone.
I was like, Kevin. I'm like, just like wait until they cut to commercial before you.
I mean, he doesn't need it. He actually could throw this. He should.
He probably should throw it. Yeah, you're right.
He could throw it.
And maybe this is some elaborate. Nah, I don't think it is. I just don't think he's good at it.
I don't think he should be playing bad at competitions anymore. I think he needs to show that he's good.
True, but I don't think he needs this one, and
correct.
And they probably know that there has to be like a double or triple coming up, so
you want to play that.
Maybe save it for that. But I have a hold on. What does this say? I don't know.
So Anna's saying, I don't know why anyone didn't pull Moose in after Herman left. He was like this year's Derek X.
Well, that's what I was saying last week. I was saying it's like he's in a perfect position, but no one did it. I'm surprised like you are, Anna. I was like, perfect position for that to happen. I agree.
But I think what ended up happening, because like I think he could have gone in with Betty, but as we saw in his exit interview with Arisa, he believed that Josh was with him, and so Josh was not with them. Josh was more so with Helena and Kevin, and it was never going to happen. Like he kept on pitching things with Josh, and it wasn't working
Who?
for
Herman
him.
did.
Yeah.
Herman
So
or
no,
Moose?
well, Moose did pitch on behalf of Herman. So he's like, showmance, Moose,
But this
Herman.
week, why did no one scoop up Moose this week? Because I thought it was a
Well,
perfect opportunity.
I think everyone was focused on backdooring Marty, and until Helena won veto and the plan went out the door, I think that's when Moose's eviction stock went up. I think he only left because Helena won veto.
Right, but they should have still been trying to scoop him up as soon as Herman was evicted. Like I
Yeah.
would have been. So you would have even had a little bit of that happening before the noms, before
But
the
he was
veto.
kind of outcasted. Like nobody wanted to work with him at that point.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. So the people that he should have pulled him in was Betty and
Yeah.
Josh and
And they
Summer.
would've been-
But Betty and Josh made a final four with the showmance, and so they didn't really need him anymore in that scenario. And I don't think that he tried necessarily. I don't know with Kevin and Helena and Marty. I don't think he went to that side at all, but he was trying with the other side.
I don't know. I'm surprised as well. But my question was for the competition that we're talking about, the HOH, is that I was trying to determine, I'm like, do you think it's a lot of your arms, which generally speaking, men have more upper body strength, but when you have a lot of weight to carry as well, women often do better with these types of, when the wall tips over on the side and stuff like that. So with this one, it's a little different than the wall one. Do you think it's even, or it's more in favor for a man or a woman?
I think it's more in favor for a woman. This is a competition that Jillian, a similar competition that Jillian won in season 1.
Jillian
Topaz
was
did very,
very strong, though.
oh yeah, 100%. But we haven't seen like what some of these women can do in an endurance situation.
We'll see. I don't think Helena's winning this one.
Yeah.
Maybe Summer.
Summer looks solid.
Don't know if Betty
Any of
has the fire.
The bigger guys, I know, because I feel like if the smaller women, I think not necessarily, and I think the bigger guys, they're going to be too heavy for themselves. So I think for me, it's either a smaller, more all-around athletic guy, or a really strong, like Jillian, woman who would win this type of competition. So
keep in mind, they're also freezing. They're going to be so cold up there.
So maybe Jacey-Lynne is going to win this one. Actually, that's who I was thinking when the feeds, like when the episode ended. I was like, Jacey-Lynne, I think that she's strong. I think that she's used to cold temperatures. I think that it would be a good thing for her to do.
And Marty, I think I agree. I think, and Marty's also in a good, like where Howie positioned himself, I thought was well in a good spot as well. So, but I agree. I think it's like Jacey-Lynne has a good chance for sure.
So Anna says he, as in Moose, had no one like Tiff or Hannah to bring him along. Makes sense. Unfortunate game moves. Yeah. We haven't seen a Pilates or yoga queen. Absolutely. I mean, we need to see somebody with that kind of. I don't. Neither of you have watched this season's Australian Survivor, but this one woman, Shay, she was like so strong. She did yoga, Pilates, like so strong, and so they could definitely do really well. I remember Alyssa, Rachel's sister. She was also pretty good at a lot of different competitions. What's her name? Erica, another Pilates person. So. Summer or JCPenney.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree. I think, or Marty, those are the three people that I think when we were leaving, were in the best position to win. Jonathan, my phone is dead. Can you search to see if we have a result yet, or do you not want to know if we do know?
Feeds were down as
I
of
do have one bit of news. Marty is not eligible for the. Oh, did you already talk about it?
No. I just saw that.
He's not eligible at all for the
he won
save.
the other one, right? Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna win it again. I was like, oh, that's
And
annoying.
I want Summer voted because I think Summer's the easiest person for everyone to put up right now, and I want more cards shown. So I would love to see her save.
So
for this
I want to see Gino save because that's like everybody's target.
The
I want him up.
Big Brother Canada tweeted 12 minutes ago and said, FYI, feeders, the live feeds will be down until tomorrow morning. And then someone named Cancel Big Brother Can said, how do you expect us to vote for someone when the feeds are down? Yeah, so I don't know when the votes need to be in by, but yeah, the live feeds are down until tomorrow morning.
Wow.
They're so annoying.
They hate us.
They're so annoying. Literally, this week, the feeds have been down 50% of the time.
Yeah. Cancel the show again. Let's just cancel it. You want that? You want to cancel the show again?
Right? Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
So,
all right. Is Spoiler Girl even real? She just said that casting for BB24 starts on the 25th of this month.
Spoiler Girl.
Well, isn't
Pam's
Spoiler Girl
Girl
and Spoiler King, like, aren't they in like a fight? I think Spoiler King is the real person and Spoiler Girl takes Spoiler King's spoils. I'm not sure. Well, it's been amazing talking to you both about these last two episodes. Did we forget about anything? Anything pressing that we didn't talk about yet?
I don't think so.
No. Well, thank you, everybody here in the chat. I'm sorry we don't have any spoilers for you. That's really annoying for us too. But we will be back on Monday. I guess I'll be on Monday with Sarah again. And then Wednesday with Jonathan and Thursday with Jojo again. It won't be a double feature like tonight, most likely. So if you're watching this video after, please like it and leave a comment. Who are you voting for this Bel Air eviction protection veto?
Who would you vote for? Summer?
I think I want.
Don't say it. He's going to get it from Facebook.
I think I want Gino saved, just because, like, I think Gino would be. Gino's probably going to be an easy target. Like, I think it's going to be a little combo of like Gino, Marty, and
JCPenney.
Maybe Helena or Jacey-Lynne.
No,
depends on who wins, obviously.
I want Helena to stay off. I like that she's the only one on.
No, but I think that those might be the people that might get thrown up just because, you know what I mean?
I would want the Easter Bunny. No, I would want, Happy Easter for those who celebrate. But I would want Jacey-Lynne because I don't want the option of both the showmance people to go up, I guess. So I like a little bit of like what Jojo was saying, like show more cards. I want something like not what typicals happen. You know, what we
I can go with Jacey-Lynne just to keep the women in the house and make sure most likely it'll be 3 men that are especially like involved in the mix.
Because of like her like finding the whole secret veto and everything. She, people might be impressed with that and really want to support her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
So I want her to be safe, or I can take her or Gino. I'm agreeing with you. I don't want the showmance to be put up immediately, or even. Yeah, but I don't mind if Jacey-Lynne is saved and then Gino is maybe used to be put up with Marty. All that jazz. You really want Summer saved, huh?
I don't like Summer, so.
Do you need your thing back? You want it back? Wait, not that one. Sorry, just kidding. Wrong one. This one. This one?
Yeah.
Or Summer?
That too. Vote Summer, and then also follow on Twitter, on Instagram, at Reality Realness with 3 S's.
Yes.
Subscribe if you haven't.
Please
subscribe. Make it happen.
See you soon. Love you guys.
Bye.